How are we doing this? Are you going, hello everyone, or is it all natural?
Oh, I'm not going to go hello everyone. What I'm going to do first and foremost, because of yesterday, is do the Pardew. Yeah! 9 years later. It worked. That one's for you, Alan.
Hello everyone, and welcome back.
Do you not like the clip that I put out the other day of you doing it as well? Did you see that? In the build-up to the FA Cup.
Have you put a clip of me? Was I actually doing the
You were
Pardew?
doing the Pardew, yeah. I think the one that I put out yesterday, actually, on the cup final morning, because obviously Palace hadn't won it, and the clip was like, can they win? They obviously got to 2 finals before. Talked about the final in 2016, in which they lost 2-1, but after Jason Puncheon scored, and you're there. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe I haven't seen it.
Probably a good thing to be there.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. What should I say? Thanks.
How you doing anyway? You good?
I'm going to quote the FIFA president. Today I feel glad all over. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Very well, thank you.
I think everyone other than Brighton and City fans feel good today.
Yeah, but even the rivalry with Brighton, I don't care about that. Right? M23.
Oh, it's a fake rivalry, isn't it?
Manufactured, yeah. But I mean, yeah, football is healing. Football is healing. How good was it that they won?
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you watch a lot of it?
I saw all the first half, and I had the second half on in the background around dad duties. And then when I saw 10 minutes stoppage time, I just thought, oh, we're just going to play till City score, are we?
We were messaging each other. Where did they get 10 minutes from?
Well, I think the owner was up there with them, and he's like, oh, how much do you need?
Yeah, but that's why it was quite funny. Henderson afterwards, wasn't it? You got your 10 minutes to Guardiola.
Yeah, no, but Guardiola went over and started moaning at him. Like, the lad's just won the FA Cup. You've got a history of winning trophies. You know what it feels like winning your first one. Like, don't be a sore loser.
No, I mean, in his press conference, in his interview afterwards, once he'd calmed down a bit, he sort of, it was nothing. He didn't, not like he apologised or anything, but he didn't play up to it or say anything outrageous.
I saw the BBC one, and he said, I didn't say anything, and given short answers, but
it could, but it's heat at the moment, isn't it? Partially, I do understand it.
I've said it on this podcast before. I'll say it again. Grow up. Do you know what I mean? It's a football match. Yeah. Like, this is the thing. Do your talking on the pitch, not after and all that sort of moaning. Do your talking on the pitch. How many chances did you create? You had enough. You had enough possession of the ball.
Yeah.
Tough.
You think Palace were deserving of their win?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. How good was their goal?
Yeah, very good.
Mustard, wasn't it? Because they'd been under it first 15 minutes. And then one ball up to Mateta was a good ball. He held it up perfectly. Yep. Everything was perfect.
The layoff to Munoz. Yeah.
The ball in, the finish from Eze. Yeah. Absolutely beautiful.
One chance, one goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah. Do you think Henderson was lucky, though, not to have seen a red for handling outside the box?
When I was watching it live, I didn't. But having seen all the camera angles and all the talk after, is the laws of the game that... I mean, was it a goal-scoring opportunity, do you think?
It probably would have been if he didn't touch it, which means it therefore should have been a red card.
Yeah, it was a bit lucky, but they decided he wasn't going towards goal or it wasn't goal-scoring opportunity or what have you.
Lacroix was going to cover defensively.
Yeah, so, you know what, how many decisions has City got over the past few years? Yeah. I can think of 115 straight off the top of my head. So, nuts to him. Well done.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things, isn't it? Because as a neutral... you didn't want the game to be ruined, so
there was no neutrals yesterday.
No,
there was only Palace
say
or
as
City.
a neutral. I know, but yeah,
that's what I said to Dad before it came on. I went, "There's no neutrals. Everyone wants City. Everyone wants City to lose."
Yeah, I mean, it's as a neutral, obviously not a fan of one of those clubs, but obviously, you wanted Palace to win if you.
Yeah, which Gary Lineker said, didn't he? Like, it was good for the game that he didn't get sent off.
Yeah. Because you knew what would have happened afterwards. I mean, City dominated the ball anyway. But
yeah, and then it'd be second choice keeper as well. I mean, some of his saves as well, opening 5 minutes, the one from Haaland. Yeah. There was the one from, I think, Doku in the first half.
That was the best one, I think. Well, and the penalty as well, because as much as the penalty was a nice height, he hit it well.
Yeah, he did. At first, I thought, oh, that was a rubbish penalty. Then when we looked at it back, I was like, nah, it's a better save. Yeah,
one hand.
Much better save.
Yeah, he picked the side, he committed to it. Fair play.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, didn't move early, did he?
No, I mean, I was surprised Haaland didn't take it, to be fair, because it was also interesting what Henderson said after the match, in that if Haaland had taken it, he wasn't sure which side Haaland was going to go, but as soon as he saw Mamouche stepping up, he knew what side Mamouche was going to go. But
there you go then, written in the stars for him, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was surprising. Do you think City were lucky to get said penalty?
A little bit, because he's already going down before contact, but that seems to be the norm these days. And I know they said, oh, Mitchell might have just got a toe on the ball, But he also doesn't need to go to ground, does he?
Yeah.
It's one of those. It's a bit silly, but
yeah, it's one of those things. I get obviously the pace that the game is being played at, and it's very difficult to make those decisions in a split second. But I mean, that's kind of what separates your really great players from your good players. But you could see Bernardo Silva wasn't shaping up to try and cross the ball in the box with his right foot. Obviously, if he's shaping up like that, you can understand Mitchell going to ground a little bit more. But the fact that he wasn't, there was no need to commit. There was no need to dive in. He's only going one way, and that was off the pitch.
Yeah, you just need to stay on your feet. You've got plenty of bodies in the box. But he didn't make that mistake again, did he? So
No. I mean, and besides that, I mean, the rest of them were pretty much faultless, to be fair. I mean, Yoz on the other side. Yeah, I mean, it kind of leads me on to say, it's a difficult question. It's not one that you really want to think about in the aftermath of such a big win. But do you think Palace will struggle to keep some of their better players and their manager over the summer?
It depends how long their contracts are. Depends how long their contracts are. He sings something there. Hot Fuzz, seen that one?
I haven't, no.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I have no idea.
Depends how long their contracts are in play for, and if there's buyout clauses and all that sort of stuff. But I also find that a little bit reactive as well. It's like, yeah, they've done really well. They've won the competition. But then to go suddenly, I want to go to a better team. Hang on a minute. You're 12th in the league. You had a really poor start. Same with the manager. The manager's building something. So sometimes you're better off being at a team like Palace. They supported him at the start of the season when it was a poor start.
Yeah.
And I know he only came sort of, was it a third of the way in last season or
about halfway through? Yeah.
And obviously hit the ground running. So everyone thought they was going to take off from the beginning. They didn't. It was a slow burner. But look how they've been. But yeah, sometimes it can be a lot of, I think, media and social media hype. There's always talks around Gahey and Eze, isn't there? And there'll be even more so for Eze's cup form.
Well, I don't know
but is it Munez's first season?
It's Munez's
in the league.
I think it's Munez's first season. He's certainly not been there as long as Gahey and Eze. Obviously, Gahey was the subject of Newcastle interest in the summer just gone. His contract hasn't got that long left, which is why Palace might need to cash in if he doesn't renew.
Yeah.
I'm not sure on the length of Eze's contract, but I remember doing a sort of similar podcast this time last year when they had Eze and analyse, and I asked exactly the same question then, because the rumours back then were Palace would be happy to accept sort of £60 million for both of them.
I mean, Elise's gone on to another levels, isn't he, at Bayern Munich?
Well, he was mustard at Palace, though.
I know, but he's stepped it up a gear, hasn't he?
I know.
From what I've been seeing. Thank goodness he didn't go to Chelsea.
And Mateta as well. Mateta's another one, isn't it? He's another one that I know that hasn't got too long left on his contract.
He is mad. Did you see him afterwards yesterday?
Oh, it's brilliant, though, wasn't it? Absolutely brilliant.
I mean, he obviously took a bigger hit to the head than we thought.
Yeah, genuinely.
But like, he obviously he'd taken off his hearing piece, so he could get instructions. Because Glasner was like, hold it, leave it, release.
Yeah.
But I couldn't see any injury on that ear, so I don't know what he's wearing it for.
I don't know if it's because the stitches are still healing. I'm not too sure. Maybe just a protective measure. But you love it, football having that different characters, isn't it? And him at the end of the game, going up while Eze was having an interview on ITV, Henderson was having an interview.
The best keeper!
Yeah. He's got his flipping selfie stick the whole way up for the cup celebration.
It looked like someone took it off him as well when he was on the stairs. And he looked like he was kicking up, give it back!
Oh, yeah, it was unreal. And then there's pictures of his mum was in the crowd, the Palace end obviously, right at the front of the Palace supporters.
Yeah.
And he's sort of sharing the FA Cup with her. They're both holding it at the same time, which is quite nice to see. So it's what football's about, isn't it?
He's been a little bit underrated. Again, he had a slow start, didn't he? But it's not just his goal scoring ability, like you say, it's his link-up play, hold-up play as well.
Yeah.
So
well, he's come on to new levels since Glasner's been there.
Yeah.
And it's, as much as he might now be looking, or other clubs might be circling, I say bigger clubs than Palace, but it's just sort of the way football is, might be looking at him as one they could get in. The fact that Palace stuck by him when he wasn't playing particularly well when he first joined, and obviously the fact that his form, as good as it has been, it's not been the whole time while he's been at Palace, means that maybe might be able to persuade him to stay for a bit longer. Well,
I think they owe the club a little bit. Like, they're in Europe, so give it a go in Europe as a team. Yeah. Like, see what they can bring in instead of having this sort of not mindset or narrative. Oh, we need to hold on to these players, blah blah blah. Well, what can we bring in to improve the squad now? You know, what can we bring in around you, or that's going to push you on even further, because you're not irreplaceable. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But the same thing goes if you're not top 6. just survive in the Premier League first and foremost, because there was you've probably seen it on social media, Henderson going, 12th again, but we won the FA Cup or whatever, obviously swearing in it. I'm not going to repeat it verbatim. But why don't clubs try and do that? We said here on this podcast there was never a better opportunity to win the cup this season because of all the teams that had gone out so early, and Palace have been the ones to take it. Their league form's been all right. Well, if they finish 12th again, they finished bottom half, but who cares? They're in history.
I put it the same clip. Remember, I put that clip out about Wigan. Obviously, Wigan going down the same year, but they beat City in the final. The comments I got back from that were Wigan fans like, we didn't care that we got relegated because of what that trophy meant for that club.
Exactly.
I think it would have been their first major trophy in their history then. That's what you remember them for. Nobody cares that they went down. Like, yeah, sure, they're not no longer playing at the elite level, but they won something. That is what football is about. Those players are forever etched as cup winners in that club's history.
I know.
Yeah. You made a good point there, though, about the Europa League, that the fact that obviously they're now playing European football next season might help them keep or persuade some of their better players to stay, at least for another year, of which they can then build a little bit more.
Yeah. Exactly. I'd be saying to Gahey, well, they probably said to him last summer, give us a year and then we'll sell you next summer. I'll be saying to him, do you want to play regular European football instead of maybe being a squad player? I'm not saying he would be a squad player, but you just never know. Stay with us another season. We'll put what clause do you want in as a buyout for the summer after, and then give us one more year. Sign a contract. Give us one more year.
Well, yeah, because you never know the way that European football can go. Obviously, look at United and Tottenham as prime examples. I mean, United especially, they finished 8th in the Premier League last year, so they didn't qualify for Europe. They qualified for Europe via winning the FA Cup in exactly the same way that Palace have done so. And I mean, Palace have been better than United this season, hence by their
if it was Palace against either of those teams in the final, you'd have Palace to win.
Yeah, exactly. So you never know what could happen next year in that European competition.
I know.
The one thing I did want to say about that as well in the Europa League, it was so nice yesterday that winning the cup came first. There was very little talk about if Palace won the cup, they would be in the Europa League. It was a byproduct afterwards that once they won the cup and they realised that they're playing European football, it was nice. But you compare that to the Europa League final, in which the whole narrative around winning that trophy is to get in the Champions League next season.
Yeah.
It's not about winning a trophy for the trophy's sake.
I mean, it should be for Spurs, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
It should be about winning a trophy, because they haven't had one for
2008 was the last time League Cup.
16 years, is it then? Something like that?
Yeah.
But again, watching that as well, some of the bigger teams now, they almost think it's a given. That's what's so nice about Palace winning it as well. It's they actually mean something a bit more to them. Do you know what I mean? City won it as well. Even neutral, City won it, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, Palace win it, and it's look what it means to all the fans and all the players. It's something special for them, isn't it?
It's one of those things, if City won it, obviously you would have turned off at the end of the game, not watched the trophy lift, not watched any of the celebrations, not watched any of the interviews, because it's...
And not listen to all the backside kissing, because that was going on in the first half anyway. Oh, City all over and blah, blah, blah. And then when they went and scored, it was we're going to hear about Palace a little bit now, are we?
Yeah. It was lovely, though. Lovely. It's like when Leicester won it a few years ago, because obviously they won it for the first time. They beat Chelsea. Obviously, Wigan, when they won it in 2013, Portsmouth, when they won it in 2008. You remember those more than some of the bigger clubs. And we say that as a supporter of a so-called big club, or a club that at least has a more successful history in terms of winning trophies. It just does mean more when it comes from a club that's never won anything before.
Yeah.
They are forever legends at that club. On City, though, how much of an overhaul do you think they need going into the summer?
I don't care. I don't. They're like a boxer on steroids, aren't they?
Yeah. But do you think it's a case of, because there's now a debate going on that this could be the start of their general decline. They're not going to slip away into mid-table.
No, I know.
But they're not going to
be fantastic if they didn't get in the Champions League as well, wouldn't it? Because they'd still sign the top players.
Yeah.
Because they'll pay whatever. It might be a rebuild, but Alex Ferguson rebuilt several times over, didn't he? The difference is he'd normally, people might say I'm wrong for this, but he could see it 2-3 years ahead and would do a couple of players in each transfer window to build up.
Always kept refreshing it.
Whereas it seems like with City, it seems like they had that period of dominance, and now look at January, 150 million, 4 players or whatever it is. Now in the summer we're going to get these. So whether it happens next season or not, you could never say anything with football, can you? because I had Forest as going down. So
you and me both.
They could come out all guns blazing again after a rebuild, but sometimes it does normally take a bit of time for a team to gel. But who knows?
It also depends on the quality that it can bring in, because previously we've been very complimentary, or before this season, we've been very complimentary of their transfer business, both the money that they can generate from sales and the players that they've signed. But you've made this point quite a lot this season. You compare the wingers that they brought in, say Savinho and Doku, to somebody like Mahrez that they've let go. They're just not the same quality.
So I haven't seen anything from Savinho this season.
Yeah,
he scored 1 goal and celebrated like he'd won the World Cup.
It's against Leicester, wasn't it?
I think so. I mean, these words will probably come back to haunt me because it's first season, so give him more than that, because obviously sometimes it takes longer for him now to adjust, doesn't it? It used to be half a season. Now for some of them, they almost like they need a full season. So next season he might hit the ground running.
He is still young as well.
But I think he's been bang average at best.
I've been quite disappointed in Doku as well, because I remember seeing Doku at the Euros in 2020 or 2021, because obviously it was pushed back a year, playing for Belgium, and I thought he was electric playing for them. Yeah. He didn't get as much of an opportunity as he should have, but he seems to beat a man and then stop and wait for the man to get back and then have to beat him.
Is that the coaching though? Or is that because the players aren't up with him? I mean, yesterday Palace did a great job because he had Muniz and Sarr. They were doubling up on him every single time.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Muniz you gave a shout out to, but Sarr defensively as well to help out his mate.
One of the underrated things, because he won't receive the plaudits as the other players, but
yeah.
I'm not sure he'll care because he's got cup winners medal.
Is there more as an attacking player? I know when you're midfield, you're supposed to do both. But yeah, every time he was on the ball, because he was the danger man. He was their danger man yesterday. So I obviously didn't want him getting the crosses in. They were happy to let him shoot from 18, 20 yards.
Or 30 yards right at the end. That was funny. I don't know if he's trying to channel his inner Gerrard.
It's probably frustration as well, though, isn't it? You think about it, he's got that ball out on the side. Every time he keeps cutting in, he's trying to find a player, and then it comes back out. Yeah. So he's probably frustrated.
But I mean, with 30 seconds left, it reminded me of a few years ago when we were our title bid 2022-23 season, when we drew 3 games in a row. Yeah. Southampton, the third one, 3-3 with like a couple minutes left. Partey's got the ball 30 yards out. Just move the ball on. Move it on. No, I'm going to shoot from 30 yards and hit it into row Z like an absolute idiot. That was Doku yesterday.
Time to make a name for myself.
Yeah, I don't know if Doku was like, had been watching cup final videos from over the years before the game and was like trying to channel his inner Gerrard or something. But
maybe. I mean, De Bruyne was a little bit unlucky of his shot from distance when he outside of his boot. That was he struck that sweetly, but fortunately for everyone not associated with City and Brighton, it went wide.
Yeah, and ultimately, as you said, Palace deserved it.
Absolutely.
It is just quite interesting that if you're the underdogs or smaller side heading into a final, kind of want to be playing City, Palace, Wigan, Manchester United.
I didn't see that one coming.
Been thinking about it since yesterday. Talking of United, let's move on to the Europa League final. So, first things first, who do you think will win the game next Wednesday?
I don't know who will win the game. I think Spurs probably should win the game because they haven't lost to United this season, have they?
All 3 games that they played this season, so obviously 2 in the league and 1 in the League Cup, they've won all 3 by an aggregate score of 8-3.
Exactly. And I think I was saying to Papa, it would be typical Spurs to have beaten them every time they played them this season and then losing the final.
The most important one that now matters. Yeah.
Although I don't think Postecoglou will have that. I think he's got enough in him to get him up for the game.
Yeah, he'll get him up for the game. It's just obviously whether... You know what you're going to get from Tottenham. It's United, to me, that is the one that you're not sure about, because they have been dross, but they can seem to be able to turn it on when it matters.
I think... Well, it's going to go to Arsenal. There's something about United playing against European teams, but now they're going to play against the Premier League team, which might be a sticking point for them. And that's what Arsenal had when they got knocked out by Chelsea all those years ago.
In the Europa League final?
No, in the Champions League when Porto won it with Mourinho.
2003-04 season.
Because I remember, I think it was Wenger or someone came out and said that, it might not have been Wenger, but I was basically saying because it was an English team, it sort of almost threw them a little bit, but he had the away goals rule as well. So that's the only thing I think from a United point of view is the fact that they're playing an English team. If they was playing any other European team, then maybe you'd be like, okay, well, they could do it. I'm not saying they can't do it. They got Super Harry Maguire. Did you see his offside finish the other day?
Against Chelsea?
Yeah, what a finish. What's going on with him? Harry, you're going to be centre half. Okay, boss. Harry, you're going to sit you up top. Okay, boss.
Sick big man up top. That's what it is.
Harry, can you just hold in midfield, please? Okay, boss.
It's funny, we didn't talk about it in the last episode when we were talking about United against Lyon game, but it's funny, for all these tactical innovations, sometimes all you need, stick the big man up top, get the ball in the mixer.
Keep it simple.
Yeah, exactly. Football is a simple game.
Was it Mike Bassett said? We're playing 4-4-2.
Yeah. The only counter that I'd have to the point you just made about United, though, is the FA Cup last season, in terms of they were nowhere. Obviously, against Coventry in the semis, they were 3-0 up, but then they scraped through that ultimately. Nobody expected them to do anything against City.
Very true.
They turned up. So it's that thing that in moments against European teams and Premier League teams, they have been able to do it in the past.
Yeah. Time will tell, won't it? We'll see on, Wednesday night?
Wednesday night, yeah. Plus also, Tottenham have a couple of injuries. Kulusevski's out.
Has he been out for a while, though? And now he's just had surgery? Or?
So he was out for a while. He came back. Postecoglou played him against Palace the other weekend. And after that, required knee surgery. So picked up something during the game.
When you know you're in a cup final, unless he's trying to do it for his fitness. But I know he put some stuff on social media, didn't he, Kulusevski? And it was a bit cryptic. But
I didn't see
when you hear having knee surgery, I think a day later, or maybe it was even a few hours later, it's like, Tottenham confirmed he's out of the final. It's like, well, yeah, surgery.
Especially knee surgery.
I've just had surgery. No, I'll shake it off. Yeah. Like Gary Wackett shaking off a broken jaw.
I saw that as well, in terms of, I think Postecoglou was saying, he's not ruled out of the final yet. He's not ruled out of the final yet. It's like, you've had knee surgery.
You're right, mate.
You sure? Yeah. The other one that they're going to miss is Lucas Bergvall, who has been tidy.
Is he out?
It's been tidy for them.
That is a miss, especially as Maddison's out now as well, isn't he?
Yes, of course.
But all these excuses to begin with, you've still got Son.
Yeah, although it's interesting because after Kulusevski got injured, in his press conference before the Villa game, Postecoglou was saying that he's obviously going to rotate and rest players with Wednesday in mind. Son was one of those that started. So whether Son actually plays next Wednesday, I don't know. But he's been in and out of the team all season, hasn't he? I know he's had a few injuries, but his form clearly hasn't been there.
Poor. Or bitty, shall we say. Probably Spurs, Spurs fans, you can tell me, but probably their best player this season, and still not that consistent, Johnson. Had a good purple patch sort of beginning, didn't he? Then he sort of tailed off. Then he's got into the goals again a little bit.
Although it's interesting because I've seen a lot of Tottenham fans comment on social media that while he's scored the odd goal or been consistent in that sense, he does nothing else throughout the games, which is why Tottenham fans were getting on his back in the first place. The most important players for them, Tottenham...
Who do they think he is? Harry Maguire?
Yeah, the most important players for Tottenham are their two centre-halves. The two centre-halves have to be fit if they're going to do anything, which obviously they are going into the cup final.
Romero and...
Van der Ven.
Van der Ven.
He's the big one, Van der Ven, because of the recovery pace that allows them to play how they want to play. But unfortunately, that's caused them to have hamstring
All we want
injuries.
to do is see an entertaining game of football, open, expansive. If Spurs win, as Arsenal fans, like, oh well, Spurs have won. We know we're going to get a load of banter, but it's also the second best European competition, isn't it? So, and it'll be hilarious. Someone in 16th or 17th in the Champions League.
Well, that leads me to ask two questions. So, first of all, you brought up Arsenal. I have to ask the painful question that I did after United won the FA Cup last season as well. Will the team that wins the final have had a better season than Arsenal?
I thought this question might come up, and I'm glad you've asked it. So, short answer, no. But would they have had a more successful season than Arsenal? Yes, if they win it. They've had a more successful season because they've come away with a trophy. A better season, not over the course of the league, 21 losses. And if you ask any other team, would you rather have got to the Champions League semi-finals or chance to get to the final, or be in the Europa League, because you're in the final four of the elite, aren't you? Champions League.
Yeah.
And they didn't perform. And again, next season we'll be hearing about, oh, what a great opportunity it was, blah, 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 blah. I'd rather be where Arsenal are than where Spurs are, is the short answer.
And United as well, because the same goes for United.
Again, United, they won't have had a better season, but they'd have had more success. They've had more success in the last 5 years of their trophies they've won than we have.
Yeah.
They've been more successful, but they haven't been better.
But the thing that I find most interesting is Paul Scholes was asked that question as well, and he said that he would much rather be in Arsenal's position, including over the last few years, than United's position, only because obviously with Arsenal we have been building, and yes, we haven't won anything besides when Arteta first came in, but haven't won anything major. We've been close though, and at least we're competing at the sharp end of the league and the sharp end of the biggest competitions. But yeah, in terms of this season, obviously one of those clubs is going to have a more successful season because they're going to win a trophy.
Well, we can throw Palace into that mix as well. They haven't had a better season than Arsenal, but they've been more successful. They've won the FA Cup.
Yeah,
and Palace fans would say they've had a better season as well. So
yeah, that's fair enough. It's their prerogative to say so.
Absolutely, yeah.
And secondly,
did we just deviate from Arsenal to a different club?
We did deviate from Arsenal.
Jesus Christ!
Well, it's funny how
podcast over.
20 minutes. It took us 20 minutes to get an Arsenal reference in. And Wenger, I don't know if you've seen his comments, but you mentioned about one of these teams going to be in the Champions League final next season. Do you agree with Wenger's comments that the winners of the Europa League final shouldn't directly qualify for the Champions League?
Yeah.
Are you saying that, or do you think he's just saying that because of the two clubs in it this season and where they are in the league? Because this, to me, has never been a debate and a question before. It's always been that way.
No, it's been that way, but why should you? Because you can have a lot of luck, can't you? You can have a lot of luck in all knockout competitions.
What, in all football?
Yeah, but you need to be consistent over a league season. So I'd rather they go, all right, 8th place will get the spot, and you get rewarded for your consistency in the league.
Yeah.
And then you get clubs who, for example, Bournemouth, they're close. They're not 8th at the moment, are they?
No, about 10th.
Yeah, exactly. But they'd still have something to play for if they could finish 8th. And then you get clubs that you won't have seen in Europe who then also get a little bit more of a financial boost, as opposed to clubs who have got away with some... I mean, United, they went 2 goals behind to 10 men, didn't they, in Lyon? And they scored 2 late goals and got through it and scraped through it, but still, you're like...
Yeah, I know. It's one thing that, while we're having that conversation, that I just thought of. They've obviously now stopped with the new format, teams from the Champions League dropping down into the Europa League.
Yeah.
So with that, could they not also then stop teams obviously winning the Europa League from going up into the Champions League? Is it not the same sort of thing? Can you not equate those two?
Or does it also make the Europa League a little bit weaker? Because how many of the Champions League teams, when they dropped down, I mean, Seville were renowned for it, weren't they?
Yeah, yeah.
So, but I don't know. I mean, that's all a matter of opinion. It's only an opinion at the end of the day, isn't it? But
yeah, which is funny because obviously after Wenger came out, because obviously his history of Arsenal and the 2 clubs in the final, a lot of people were thinking that he was just saying that because of the 2 clubs in the final. But as he might have been saying it because of that, but at the same time, the 2 clubs that are in the final have been so poor in the league. It's more come from that background that you're going to have 2 really poor sides in the Champions League next year.
On Friday night, and I think that's 21 losses now in the league season for Spurs.
It's 21 for Spurs, yeah.
And I think it's 19 or 20 for United.
Yeah,
I think probably 19.
They're obviously below.
And have you seen the thing going around about when Blackpool got relegated? That was on the same points as United now and a better goal difference.
Yeah.
Which is insane, isn't it? It's mad. That was only 12 years ago?
2011. So
14 years
ago.
14 years ago then.
2010-11 season. Yeah.
That's mind-boggling.
I know. Yeah. It also shows you how poor the relegated sides have been again this season.
No. Well, I think I was saying to Dad, like, what they could have done if they really wanted to, they could have just stuck 11 men behind the ball, drawn 35 games, lost 3 and stayed up.
Close enough, yeah.
I mean, boring as sin, you might not fill out the stadium, but you'd stay up and you'd get that financial boost that way, wouldn't you?
I think Burnley are going to try that next year based on their clean sheet record from this season. So
well, if there's any Premier League clubs... promoted clubs to the Premier League. That's what I'll do for you. Let's see if we get success.
Was that Big Steve over there? All right.
Knock it long!
Stick it in the mixer. That's what you want. Just say that.
I'll just have one player on the halfway line who's got a load of pace, and I'll just boot it. All you got to do is just run onto it and try and score.
Yeah. All right. Before we come to the Champions League, there are just a couple more points I want to talk about on the Europa League. One of them, you okay there?
Yeah, I was just reading. You didn't say that out loud, did you?
What was that?
Your title for the Europa League final.
Oh yeah, I wasn't. Oh, that was one more for you. Not to say out loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a family show, folks.
You can say it out loud. I'll just have to edit it.
No.
Who do you think this game is more important for, the Europa League final?
Definitely Spain. Spurs. Private joke there. Spurs.
Really?
Yeah, because they haven't won a trophy for so long. I don't think it'll make any difference to Amarin's position if they win or lose.
It won't make a difference to Postecoglou's position if they win or lose.
Well, it's gone whether he's won it anyway, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like, do you know, it'd be quite funny if Spurs did win it, because he said early on, didn't he? I don't normally win things. I always win things in my second season.
If having said that, if I was him, I would just leave at the end of the season anyway. That is the biggest like mic drop FU moment. Yeah, just walk off into the sunset. You've been poor in the league, sure, but having said that,
but he does that, you might get the poor Champions League football. So you'll probably able to sign Jamie Vardy from Leicester and Liam Delap from Ipswich, and
he's going to United by the looks of things.
And who's the goalkeeper that was at Burnley? That's now at Ipswich.
Muric.
Yeah, they could sign him as well, couldn't they?
They'll definitely go down.
Well, speaking of the Spurs goalkeeper, they had the January signing in goal the other day.
Yeah.
Was Vicario rested or dropped?
Rested.
Or?
I think rested because of he spent a period of this season out injured as well. Okay. So it was pretty much taken, no precautions. But on the question that I asked, we are going to disagree, because I would say United, the Europa League final was more important for them. That's more from a financial perspective though, because I think they have genuinely planned, with the spending that they've had over the last few years, to be in European football, as in play, sorry, when I say European football, I mean to be playing Champions League football consistently, regularly. If they don't have that money coming in next season, the supposed financial state of that club at the moment, they can't afford not to be playing European football.
Well, that's their odd cheese, isn't it?
I know,
that's poor business management.
Of course, it is, yeah.
So, yeah, so I see your argument from that side of things, but from a particularly fans and manager, players perspective, it would mean more for Spurs.
Oh yeah, of course, it would mean more for them, yeah, 100%.
Are you saying that if United win, that if they get to a final next season, they'll actually pay for their staff to go, will they?
Only the Champions League final. Yeah. That's another cost-cutting measure, isn't it? It's ridiculous. Amarim has paid, I think, out of his own pocket for staff members to go.
Is it 30 staff members? I think Bruno Fernandes has offered, and even Eric Cantona as well.
Yeah, but when
you think you've worked all through the season, like if you're talking about normal people who are on normal wages or whatever they are, right? Reward for all their hard work and support and all the crap they've put up with. No, you're not going. Like, it's classless.
It is, and it does. What's going to happen to the culture of that club when they're making decisions like that? Yeah. People aren't going to want to work.
They're not going to work for you.
Yeah.
You don't get people working for you by taking everything away from them all the time.
No, I know. It's
and it's. I don't want to say hypocrisy, but when you're like a billionaire, like,
I know.
Do you know what I mean?
But I get, obviously, we just talked about the financial state that the club's in, but surely decisions like that are a drop in the ocean when you're paying some of the players astronomical wages. And I know they can't do a massive amount about that at the moment, but they might be able to in the summer. So paying, say, £1 million a bloke that is a billionaire for staff members to go? It probably wouldn't even be that much.
I know. Yeah. Well, I'd like to know what he's doing. I mean, is he going to downsize to a free-bred semi?
Yeah. Okay.
They're all in it to make money, aren't they? That's all it's for.
I know. Lastly, 2 additional points, one on Tottenham and one on United. What do you make of Postecoglou the other day in his press conference? We messaged about it, but putting Tottenham's league struggles this season down to his side's exploits in Europe and the Carabao Cup.
I thought that was the biggest load of nonsense I've seen.
It's just excuses.
It's someone who's walking the green mile, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I just when I saw that, I was like, oh well, because we put our efforts in this, and it's like, well, you got spanked by Liverpool in the League Cup, and Europe, yeah, all right, you got to a final, but you're supposed to have a squad for one. So why did Liverpool win the league so easily then? Because they was in Europe.
I know.
They got to the League Cup final. Didn't do so well in the FA Cup, so be it.
A better comparison, do you see Aston Villa down in 16th, 17th?
No.
They got to the Champions League, harder competition, quarterfinals, pushed PSG all the way. They got to the FA Cup semi-finals, so obviously the same stage that Tottenham got to the League Cup. They're pushing top 5.
I know. Just
it's excuses. Excuses.
Look at Chelsea. I know people say about Chelsea they're not that great, but they're still within the chance of finishing in the Champions League places.
Their squad
Conference League.
Their squad is just. I don't care about Chelsea. Their squad is absolutely huge that they can rotate.
Yeah,
I know,
but we've said about their squad though. You look at them and you just sort of think, other than Palmer, did you see the chances Madueke missed the other night as well? Oh, Yeah,
I haven't seen.
But yeah, I just thought, you know, when you just sort of think, you'd just rather be honest and just go, we've been awful.
Yeah.
I don't know why our league form's been awful, but we've been awful.
But when he first came over to manage Tottenham, it seemed like his press conferences were like that. People liked the fact that he was honest, but they've become pricklier and pricklier this season
because things aren't going his way. And let's be honest, the press are a pack of wolves.
Yeah.
When things are going well, they're your best friend, and when they're not, they will ask the hard-hitting questions. Like some of the questions they ask are just absolutely like putrid. You're just like, mate, come on, you've got a brain, think for yourself. Like, you know, so Ange, you've just lost 7-0 and you walked in on your wife cheating on you with your brother. How do you think it's gone today?
How do you feel?
Do you know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, pathetic. But yeah, just be like, oh, they haven't been good enough.
I know. Say it, call it for what it is.
Yeah, 21 league losses. Mm-hmm. Embarrassing, really, isn't it?
It is. But they might end with a trophy. So
yeah, they've got a 50-50 chance.
Yeah. And talking of embarrassing, a nice stat that I saw from The Athletic yesterday that I thought I'd bring in to round out this section. Ruben Amorim has averaged fewer points per game in the Premier League than Paul Jewell during his time so far in the Premier League. And that's interesting because Paul Jewell went on a 24-game winless run with Derby.
Is that including when he was Wigan manager as well?
Yeah, which is why he's got a higher points per game average. Because obviously when Wigan first came up, they were really good in it. I think they were, first half of that season, they were sort of hanging around the top 4, which is really surprising. But
yeah, I did see that stat. Quite funny.
It just sums up how poor they've been in it, United. Yeah.
They're like, in a way, they're a bit like Spurs where you just don't know what you're going to get with them.
No, that's why I said about the Europa League final next Wednesday. They might turn up because they also have quality of players that can produce in moments, as they have done for the last few years.
On paper, they've got a better quality of player and a better squad, haven't they?
Yeah.
Wednesday night will be the tale of the two keepers because both are iffy.
Yeah, erratic.
It's Onana injured though because Bad in the Air's been playing, isn't he? And Heaton's been on the bench.
I thought, didn't Onana play the other night? Against
Did
Chelsea?
He?
I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah,
I'm thinking about the match before then.
It might have just rotated again because it
wasn't even on the bench. So, but yeah, fair enough.
Right, let's move on to the Champions League. So, Champions League pain for Arsenal. This is where we come to a bit of a more prolonged section.
It was pain
about
for
Arsenal.
you.
You expected.
I said they'll get knocked out by Paris Saint-Germain. They're fast becoming the nearly men, the bottle jobs, aren't they? Like, you lose 1-0 at home, all right, it wasn't the worst scoreline. But I know they played slightly different because Partey was suspended and blah, blah, blah. I know they started well out in Paris, but didn't take their chances. It's the story of our season. They can't score enough goals. I don't know why he played his strongest team against Bournemouth to then go and lose 2-1 because you can't score enough goals because you can't finish. That would have been brilliant for them, wouldn't it, mentally? We've just been done by Bournemouth at home and now we've got to go and turn around Paris Saint-Germain. I mean, Donnarumma, don't get me wrong, made some good saves. It's taken until the final 3 games of the season for Odegaard to start shooting from outside the box.
Yeah.
And like I say, Donnarumma, great save. Great save!
Yeah, especially the Odegaard one, that was the best of the lot.
Yeah, but other than that, they got what they deserved.
So, because you're sounding quite critical of Arteta there, and I feel like then bringing in the where do you stand on the Arteta debate. Now, there's obviously multiple facets to it, but it seems like the narrative, especially at the moment, is he needs to start winning major trophies. Obviously, we won the FA Cup in 2020, but is he now under pressure to win one of the 2 big ones? So we're talking the Premier League or the Champions League, based on how we've been building over the last few years. So
I had this conversation with Jim of the Gregs the other day, and he was saying, was it time for Arteta to go? And I know some Arsenal fans have been saying yes.
It's starting to turn that way. Sorry to interrupt. That it certainly feels like, I think a majority is still on Arteta's side because they see where we have come from when he first took over. But because of the whole nearly men thing, they want somebody else, a proven winner.
Well, don't forget where we've come from towards the back end of the Wenger years and how far we tailed off and how much he had to build as well. But I think we've already discussed it on here. Last season's transfer window now is just showing how poor our business was, for one.
The transfer window heading into this season, summer.
Yeah. They need to have a really decent transfer window, especially if them putting their ticket prices up and saying it's so we can compete and blah, blah, blah. Because I'm sorry, this season you haven't competed for Jack. Like the last 2 seasons, you were there or thereabouts and against a Monster City team. Fine. But it's even the style of play this season. The style of play has been boring. It's been so slow and so methodical Like, and beginning of the season, they were winning games 1-0 and keeping clean sheets. Now they're conceding; they can't score more than one goal. It's not hard to see what the problem is. Now, I'm not Arteta out. I actually think we need to see what we do this summer in the transfer window. He needs to be supported, and we need a director of football because he doesn't have that at the moment. Well, we got someone, didn't we? Sporting director. Yeah, we got someone. So we need to see what they do. But the board have been very good at being quiet, and it's the same old story for Arsenal. We get close. It's almost like tantalising the fans a little bit. Look how close we are. Oh, we're going to do something. Now we put the prices up, and now actually we're not going to do anything in the transfer window. So we know what we need to do. You need to sign a few players. It's whether they do it or not.
Well, I mean, to provide evidence that we are already doing that, obviously Zubimendi, the Real Sociedad holding midfielder.
We need a striker.
I know, but
to be honest, we probably need 2 strikers.
Yeah, that deal has already basically been, if it's been confirmed by Fabrizio Romano, it's been confirmed. Victor Gyökeres, it looks like we're in pole position, the Sporting Lisbon striker, to sign him.
Okay.
It's slightly different from last summer the summer heading into this season. We only signed, in terms of major signings, Calafiori and Marino were the 2 big ones. And it also, we didn't do the business right at the start of the window, which is quite surprising. The fact that we're already doing business and we're doing it early, I'm hoping that they've recognised that we need to obviously sign a few players in certain positions.
Well, it shows they want to compete, hopefully, but the squad's been threadbare, really, isn't it? There's some players next season who need to step it up again, Odegaard being one, but I know he got injured early in the season. Saliba hasn't been top form, has he? But players do that. Players do have seasons where, and maybe it's because for the previous 2 seasons they were hitting top form and they're jaded. Who knows?
Or also because of the lack of rotation as well, which you could either put down to the lack of squad depth or the fact that Arteta just doesn't trust some of his other squad players. The fact that he just plays the same.
Maybe. I wouldn't go as far to say as he has to win a major trophy because there's only 4 out there, right? But in the bigger games, they need to start showing more ruthlessness, and they need to. I don't think they've performed this season. Is the short answer. And like I say, they've been very frustrating to watch. I mean, they've been on when they're on Sky and all that sort of thing. I normally always come over to watch it, and it's got to the point where you're coming over. I probably not. I've got things I need to do. Like before, I'd put them on hold, and they're just not entertaining. Yeah. You want to be entertained, don't you? You're paying 40 quid for a Sky subscription. You're paying God knows how much for a season ticket.
Or even a match-going ticket these
days.
The
corporate ones. A friend of mine got complimentary ones because an in-law works for Adidas, so corporate had passed it down. Yeah. You know, because I've even seen this advertised on social media, like, $1 million and a show, blah, blah, blah. $1,000.
Yeah.
To watch a game of football and, get a free course meal. Yeah. Football has gone way away from the fans. I don't care. It's a money machine.
I know, especially at the biggest clubs, especially, isn't it? They don't care at all. And as evidence of that, I just want to talk about it briefly, is the whole TIFO debacle. Now, I know...
What is a TIFO?
You know the...
I know what it is, but why is it called... TIFO... Is it shortened for something, or is it just...
Is it motif, is it? I'm not sure. I can't remember. That's just what it's always been about.
I'm showing my age there.
Yeah.
Sorry, kids.
To be fair, I've always known it as a TIFO. But in terms of the disconnect between the club and the fans, I know you said that, because obviously the Ashburton Army raised, $12,000, and you're like, why people putting money in for a bit of cloth? But at the same time, it would have done a little bit to generate atmosphere. It would have done a little bit just to connect the players to the fans a little bit. You compare it, for example, to what Sunderland did against Coventry when they had the Black Cats till the end, which was really good. Palace yesterday, I don't know if you know, did you see the story behind that?
No, I don't know the story.
The story behind it was 2011, Palace played United at Old Trafford, I think, in the FA Cup. Darren Ambrose scored. The camera cut to a dad with his 2 kids celebrating, which is what that was. 2017, the dad passed away after a battle with cancer. The 2 kids, obviously as adults, were in the stadium yesterday. I don't know if they had anything to do with the TIFO itself.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but that sort of story, again, it creates that connect between the fans and the players.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying of Arsenal. They're not connected to the fans. They're just cash cows.
We pull a flipping curtain in our biggest game in years, arguably. We pull a curtain across.
Oh, look at our cannon. Oh, we're so classy.
What is that? What is it? Like, the fans know best about how to generate an atmosphere.
Yeah, but at boardroom level, they think they know better.
No, but it's like, it applies to everything, though, that people in suits think, I need to be seen to be doing something. Let me do something. When they don't understand.
They don't get it.
Don't understand.
You're not connected.
No. I did my nuts in.
120 quid for the new Arsenal match-worn shirt, by the way.
I haven't seen.
Another tenner. I think the replica one is up another £5. It's nothing more than corporate greed.
I feel like everything we're saying, we should just go and support a non-league team or a side playing down League 1, League 2.
Yeah, even there, like AFC Wimbledon was like 25 quid a ticket.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, well done AFC Wimbledon. Playoff final.
I was at the final against Plymouth last time they were in League 2 playoff final.
Yeah.
That would have been 2016 as well when they got promoted to League 1.
It'd be great if they go up again. But they got Walsall, haven't they?
Yeah. Well, there's a lad of... So, obviously, I used to play academy football for AFC Wimbledon. Never mentioned that in the podcast before. Strange.
Have we even mentioned that you had Declan Rice in your pocket in a Surrey League Cup final?
Year 7 Surrey... Surrey Cup final, Coombe Boys against Greycourt School. He was playing for Greycourt.
Greycourt?
Yeah, he was at Greycourt.
That's Richmond, isn't it?
Yeah.
Rich what?
That's a great film as well. Great film. Yeah, we won 3-1. Beat Greycourt 3-1 and Declan Rice was playing, obviously, for Greycourt, so it's quite nice. But yeah...
All the years we've been doing this and we never even mentioned it.
Didn't even...
Because he said he won everything as a kid. Didn't win that one in year 7 though, did you, Dec?
Yeah. You know what's more important? Declan Rice scoring those 2 free kicks against Real Madrid, or the year 7 Surrey Cup final that we beat you. We won. We won. I'm here not making any money from this, but I'm glad I won the year 7 Surrey Cup final.
But I beat you and I'm in your head rent free.
Yeah. He thinks about that every single night.
It's like, oh, that lad of the years. Yeah, I remember him.
To be fair, I would rather win the year 7 Surrey Cup final, though, than the Europa Conference League. So, you know.
Is that only because Chelsea are in the final?
Yeah.
Anthony's going to be prime Pele, isn't he?
Yeah. It'd be funny, wouldn't it? He'd have if United win... If United win the Europa League and Betis win the Conference League, Anthony gets 2 medals.
I saw that, yeah. Good.
Anyway, the point about AFC Wimbledon... only one of the lads from our squad, he got released at the same time as me, but made it as a professional footballer. He's now playing for Walsall, so he's left wing back. Liam Gordon is his name.
Okay.
He'll be playing for Walsall against Wimbledon.
Who released him?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
But Walsall have bottled a 12-point lead at the top of that division this season.
Come on, Wimbledon. Come on.
Yeah.
Believe.
We took it away from Arsenal. It's quite nice, wasn't it?
I know.
It was good. It was interesting. I know. Now I'm going to take it back to Arsenal.
Because people look at this go... Casual fans, all you do is talk about Arsenal all the time. Boring.
I feel like we should create almost a separate podcast where we focus specifically on Arsenal and then all the other clubs.
I mean, we could do it if you wanted to. It's what would you call it?
I'm not sure. I'd have to...
The casual Arsenal fans.
Nah, we're not casual Arsenal fans. We're real
But like,
Arsenal
you know
fans.
that little arrow thing? Well, it'd be TCAF, wouldn't it? Like, just put the A above that.
Oh, yeah. Or just get an Arsenal badge, like stick over the top or something. Yeah. You mentioned, while we were talking about the Champions League, that we've become nearly men. What do you put that down to? Do you put that down to just the fact that we haven't got a clinical striker, or do you put it down to something more of like a cultural problem at the club? Have we become a bottle?
No, it's becoming a bit of a cultural problem because they've never got across the line. And the Saka chance that he missed when we was 2-1, if he puts that in the net, they're panicking. You're then going for it. They're in panicking, aren't they? I know it makes it 3-2 on aggregate, but he misses that. All right, it's not the easiest opportunity, but a professional footballer, you'd expect him to put it in there, wouldn't you? And it's those sorts of things that change games. The momentum would then go with you, and that's where your stories come from. I'm thinking when Liverpool won it in 2005, Gerrard's goal against Olympiacos in the group stage.
Or even in recent...
They were going completely out of the competition.
Yeah. But even in recent seasons, Madrid against City, I know Madrid have done some mental things at the Bernabeu, but City were 2 goals to the good in the 90th minute. Madrid scored 1, they then got the ball back immediately and scored another, and City were done. I know they still had extra time to play, but it was only going one way after that.
It kills you mentally.
Yeah. At the same time, though, obviously, because you brought into the Saka miss into it, Partey. What was Partey doing at their place with the header back into the danger area for the first one, and the second one, I know Kivior gave the ball away on the halfway line, but then we won it back. The ball's given to Partey on the edge of our own box. You think he's got far more time than he does do, gets dispossessed. Hakimi scores straight away.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'd called before the first leg that Partey was going to be a massive miss, and to an extent he was, but then in the second leg, he gives 2 goals away.
But we also changed the way we played because we didn't have him. And I just sort of think, just go for it.
Yeah, I know.
Like, you'd rather go out fighting, wouldn't you, than with a whimper, and I think they've gone out with a whimper, personally.
Because as much as we stuck it to PSG or stuck it on PSG a little bit at their place. The home tie, I know obviously the goal...
3 minutes in and then you still can't score.
It was a sucker punch, but still, there was nothing after that. The atmosphere was flat.
And they had a chance at the end as well, didn't they, to make it 2 in the home tie,
yes,
I believe?
they did. Yeah, they hit the bar and they had another one.
And they had plenty of chances in the reverse leg, their home tie. Like, a couple of chances they missed, like 1-on-1, but we could have been dead and buried. So, yeah.
Anyway, let's move on to the other Champions League tie quickly, though, because, I mean... both games mean that tie does deserve a mention. Did you watch any of the Barcelona-Inter games? Did you see any of the highlights?
Yeah, I've seen the highlights of both the games. The first one was a draw out there, wasn't it?
3-3, yeah.
Yeah, and Mkhitaryan was like a toe offside from being 4-3.
Yeah.
And then Barcelona thought they had it won, didn't they? And they again, talking about momentum, equalised late on and then carried them through. Yeah, great games.
Both of them, yeah. I mean, it's arguably the greatest UEFA Champions League semi-final of all time, which I will ask you that question because I've written some down to compare in a moment. But it was like an advert for football, wasn't it? Both of those. I didn't watch the first one live, but having seen how it developed, I thought, right, I'm definitely watching the second one. It was as good, if not even better. And Lamine Yamal, that 17 years old, scary player. How easily he takes the ball past people. Was it
Sommer and goal for Inter as well, though?
Yeah,
some of his
deserves a mention. The one when Inter were 4-3 up on the night, so 7-6 up on aggregate, in second half of extra time, and Yamal cut in, going top bins, and he just gets a fingertip to it. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And Inter signed Sommer for £5 million after they let Onana go to United for £40 million plus.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, football's not all about money, I guess it turns out. Anyway, what I wanted to ask you, so I've written down in front of you some of the other, or what is considered the best UEFA Champions League semi-finals of all time. Where would you rank Barcelona against Inter Milan in that? Or which of those that I've written down do you think is the best? So, I mean, we can go through them if you don't remember them. But
yeah, I'm not going to lie and say I remember all of them. In terms of entertainment, it's up there as being one of the most entertaining, but in terms of quality, I think some of those other ones have got better quality.
That's fair enough. It's a fair argument.
So the AC Milan, Manchester United, like I'd say that's better quality because Kaká.
What you remember Kaká for?
Oh, I mean, and it's Everett that takes out Heinzer as well, trying to get back at him.
Yeah, and they look at each other after that, like,
well, what can you do against pure class? And that night he was pure class,
and
wasn't he?
He won the Ballon d'Or that year because they went on to win the Champions League final in 2007.
Because if I remember rightly, doesn't he? He kicks the ball over Everett with the outside of his right boot, stoops down to head it, and
through both of them,
and then he just threw 1-on-1. Yeah,
unreal. See, but it's those moments in it that will forever, like as long as you live, just be etched in your memories from what you've seen.
I'm sure I've probably sent it to you, like when you see people dub over sort of music on it, and like I think one of them's like George Michael, was it Careless Whisper or something?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just that goal. So yeah, that's a good one. Not so much quality, but Tottenham coming back to 3-3. I know that was away goals, but against Ajax.
To me, though, I wouldn't even say that was the best.
Oh no, it's not the best one. I'm just saying.
No, the best one of that year, because that same year was Barcelona 3-0 up. You know, the same year that Dembele should have made it 4 at the Nou Camp. And then Liverpool came back without Salah, I think, and they were missing somebody else. It might have been Firmino because I think only Mane was fit from their front three, and they beat him 4-0 at Anfield.
Yeah. So to be honest, out of all the ones that you've listed there, I would probably say, and it's not English bias, I'd say that's the best one because they're 3-0 down to a very good Barcelona team. And that will always be iconic with Trent's quick corner, wouldn't it? Mm-hmm. Quick corner, Origi, 4-0, done.
And yet they still boo him. Sorry, we'll come to that in a bit.
Well, he's not a proper Scouser, is he? Not a proper Scouser. Gerrard's a proper Scouser. Yeah. I don't know if you saw that. Is it Paddy the Baddie? They had him on like a BBC. I saw it on a social media site. Like, it's just clickbait nonsense. He's entitled to his opinion, but that's all it is an opinion. Like you and I here. It's just an opinion. It's not a fact. If the lad wants to go elsewhere, then it's his life. He can do whatever the hell he wants with it.
I know. Yeah, which I mean, we're going to come to talk about in a little bit more detail later on. I just wanted to say, so in terms of drama, obviously Barcelona-Inter Milan is up there, but I probably would go Real Madrid against City a few years ago, just because of Madrid's goals really late on in the second leg, but also that first leg in which City were really, really good. Madrid just kept hitting them on the counter-attack. It was 4-3 at the Etihad.
Was that the Benzema penalty?
When he Panenka'd it, yanked it down the middle.
See, it's funny because I remember that. I remember the first leg, but I don't remember the second leg too much.
I only remember the second leg. City were 1-0 up. Grealish had 2 chances, I think. Difficult chances, don't get me wrong. And I'm not criticising him. It was Courtois' saves. They were a stud away, City, from going 2-0 up at the Bernabeu, and then that would have been insurmountable. But Courtois made a really good save, kept them in the game. And then, 2 late goals. I know Rodrigo got one of them. I think he got the second because the ball was crossed in right after they'd already scored one. And he headed it past Ederson. And then, from there, City were just done. They still had 30 minutes of extra time to play, but they were done. They were gone. Yeah.
Finished.
Indeed. Right. Now let's come to some of the Premier League talking points, of which there aren't much.
Are there any, are there?
Well, it's more Forest that I want to talk about, to be fair. A couple of things on Forest. Also Trent, and maybe a little mention for Goodison Park as well, because obviously it's the final Premier League game today. But let's talk about Forest first. So I haven't actually watched any Premier League football in quite a while because the season has been done and not exciting for me to watch. However, I did see the Forest owner marching onto the pitch at the end of the game against Leicester and having some very public words with Nuno Espirito Santo and his Forest squad. Did you see it as well? What did you make of it?
I didn't see it, actually. No, I read about it. It flashed up. You know, you get notifications. And I just thought, what a baby. What a big baby.
What a big baby.
No, I just like the season they're having. Bear in mind, you almost got relegated last season. What's your problem? You're still in Europe. It might not be Champions League, but you're still going to be in Europe. And I know I said on here that I think they might finish in the Champions League places. They still could. Drawing at home to Leicester isn't great, but they're just starting to run out a bit of steam, aren't they?
Yeah. And after the season that they've had,
I know.
If you said that
grow up.
Yeah, if you started the season to all Forest fans, you would be 7th as they are now, qualifying for a European competition. I think City are 6th as it currently stands.
7th. Oh, do you want me to check the table? You'll be right because I'm ultra casual.
But they need to win today to have any chance still of finishing in the top 4. Obviously, yes, the Leicester result was a bad one in the context of finishing in the Champions League. But as you've said at the start of the year, nobody, not even Forest fans, expected them to be where they are. So
you are correct. They are 7th, 62. Yeah. I think City next on 65, then Villa and Chelsea 66.
Which is why Forest do need to win today if they're going to have any
to leave it till the final game of the season. But they're finishing in Europe, aren't they? They're almost guaranteed Europe now. So
I think they pretty much are. They are guaranteed to finish at least 7th, which means they'll get Conference League.
Yeah, exactly.
And that will be the first time they've played European football. I can't remember what it was, but in donkey's years, basically. So
since they won the European Cup,
potentially,
maybe?
yeah. So it would have been the start of the 80s. Because it's
acceptable in the 80s, wasn't it?
True. Potentially going 40 years. It is about 40 years back. Yeah. The fact that he did that though, and because of his temperament as an owner in general, sure, Forest fans might say obviously the owner is the reason partly why they're there. It wouldn't surprise me now though if he sacked Espirito Santo in the summer. That's just me observing what went on. His decisions with other managers previously. He obviously has some sort of expectation that they should be finishing top 4.
Yeah, but if I was him, I'd turn around and go, "You can stick your job."
Yeah,
like come onto the field like that. Who do you think you are? You're the owner. You don't. This is the thing. Yes, you own the club, but you don't know about the tactics, what it needs, do you?
No.
I know all us fans think we do.
Yeah.
But there was I've probably spoken about on this before. There was that interesting sort of documentary. It's very old now. I say very old. It's when Ian Dowie was QPR manager, and you had the consortium who owned QPR. And
is this Tony Fernandez or is it?
I think it was before Tony. I'm not sure if he was part of it and then he took over it himself or no, because it was is it Flavio Briatore?
Yeah. And
some of those, and they're going, "Why isn't he playing that young lad? He's really good. He should be on. Blah blah blah. Send a runner down and tell him to." So he sends someone down, and 5-10 minutes later he's putting them on.
Yeah.
But then he's the one getting sacked when the results don't come through.
You told. I remember you telling me about that on the podcast.
It's really good. And then because then Neil Warnock comes in towards the end of it, as in like, so you just see when Warnock takes over and he's going around the training ground, and on the dressing room for the home team, for the first team, because it's obviously their training ground, not the home team, it's got winners or something on it, and he's going past. He goes, "Well, that needs to come down for a start."
Yeah.
Like,
it's meant to win it, but it also then reminds me of Chelsea in terms of owners having words with their manager. Because when Todd Bowley came in, I don't know how truthful it was, but there were reports obviously that he was telling Tuchel to play 4-4-3, wasn't it? when we spoke about that at the time.
Yeah. They've only got 11 players.
Yeah, I get that you're invested obviously in the club, but you have to leave the management of the squad and the players down to those who are more qualified.
Well, the professionals. Football's a game of opinions, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everyone's got an opinion, but being a good owner, is stepping back and letting them get on with it. Your job as an owner is, if you don't think they're doing their job properly, is when you replace them.
Yeah, exactly.
But football, you need time, and things come in sort of peaks and troughs. Sometimes you'll be on a good bit of form, but it's sticking with them when it's a bad bit of form.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll be playing well and you won't be getting up results or points. But if you're playing well, that's the key thing. That's what I don't think a lot of owners understand, and even some fans. It's like, because if you're playing well, it will come.
Yeah.
It will eventually come. But
it's interesting you say that, because that was a major reason why Liverpool took the decision to hire Jurgen Klopp. So in Klopp's final season at Dortmund, they dropped off massively. They were sort of down towards the bottom of the table for the first half of the season. I mean, in the relegation zone. But Liverpool could see, when making their decision to hire Klopp, that their underlying performances in that last season were so much better than the results that they were getting.
Yep.
Obviously, then brought Klopp in, and I know it took a little bit of time for him to win things, but that's because he had a squad to build.
Yep.
But look what he did.
Yeah, I know. And they still showed promise, didn't they? There was that joke about it was like the picture, wasn't it? The front end of Liverpool's the Ferrari, the back end was the Beetle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, they were building every year, weren't they? Because I think he got them to Europa League final. It wasn't their first season he was there. I don't think it might have been the second season, or maybe the first full season.
They lost that one, didn't they?
Sevilla, yeah. But Sturridge scored the first goal, and then Sevilla, Europa League merchants back then, scored 3 after half time, and they won the game. Then I think it was a League Cup final as well that they lost to City, but they were getting there, and eventually they got over the line. And obviously he won everything while he was there, so turned out to be the correct decision. One other thing on Forest, the injury to Owoni. It's more the policy about flagging for offside after the move has ended that I wanted to ask you about. So because of the extent of his injury, obviously he was in quite a severe condition based on reports. With the current policy around flagging for offside after the move has ended, was Owoni's injury an accident waiting to happen? And do you think said policy needs to change?
Well, I think Gary Neville said it probably a couple of seasons ago, that one day someone's going to get injured or hurt through not flagging when they're quite clearly offside. And you don't expect anyone to get hurt as badly as what he did, like having to be put in a induced coma. But it's always, you're always going to have people moaning. You flag and the referee blows the whistle too early. Oh, you stopped us from scoring a goal, etc., etc. But it's just scoring a goal. Like, the bloke was put in an induced coma.
Yeah, I know.
Like, it's only a game of football. No one should be dying, should they?
No.
Or close to that. So, yeah, I think they need to have a look at themselves and go, you know what?
Maybe we need to change this. Especially, I can understand sometimes if it's really, really tight. But when they're not flagging for, like, when the attacker's 3 yards offside, that's when it starts to get ridiculous, which I'm pretty sure, again, I haven't seen it, but this was one of them. No, it was quite clear that he was offside, or somebody in the attacking move was offside.
They talk about clear and obvious errors, don't they? If it's clear and obviously offside, then put your flag up.
Yeah.
If it's there's an argument to go, it's too tight, so I don't want to do it. That's fine, and that's what you got the technology there for. But if you're certain and there's clear daylight and all that sort of stuff, then you put your flag up.
Yeah.
All right.
Whether they actually now change it now, though.
But it needs someone with the backbone to do it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And they've worked hard to get to the Premier League, and if they do it, they'll probably drop down to the Championship, won't they?
Yeah. Right, let's move on from Forest to a couple of other talking points. I'll cover Goodison Park briefly before we move on to the Championship. The one that I just wanted to ask your opinion on for a little bit more detail. Were you surprised that Liverpool fans inside Anfield booed Trent Alexander-Arnold against Arsenal when he came on?
Wasn't all of them, was it? It was sections. Was I surprised? No.
It was. I thought, because we had the conversation before and we said that it felt like it was a predominantly social media thing. Fans on social media were given backlash, which you're always going to get because of the way that the world is these days. I was surprised that boos were audible when he came on. I thought the match-going fans, they might be disappointed that he's leaving, but bearing in mind he's been there since the age of 6, bearing in mind he's won everything at that club.
Well, Salah was furious, wasn't he? Yeah. I think he went over and applauded him, didn't he? No, it doesn't surprise me, because what have I said on here before? Everyone's a hypocrite. You never walk alone. Or unless you go against something I don't want, so see you later.
Yeah. But the fact that he's getting booed for that means, what's it going to be like when he picks up his Premier League medal? Do you think that he's going to get booed then? It just makes that's like a happy thing. You've won your second Premier League title, your second league title in 30 odd years. The first that you're able to celebrate in the stadium, because obviously what happened when they won it before, that they couldn't do that. Just make it happy. Make it a happy occasion. Cheer your players.
Well, I think they're going on this victim mentality of, like UFC fighter was saying, was, he could have signed a contract and we could have got some money for him and blah, 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 and all this sort of stuff. And it's like, yeah, but you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. You don't know what he's being told. And if he doesn't believe or trust in what he's being told, that he will be released and he wants to go and try something different and a new challenge, then that's what he's got to do.
Yeah.
Like, but they're holding him 100% accountable. So, fine.
The fundamental point, he has given 20 years of his life to that club. Like, that is so rare these days.
He wants to go and play with his best mate and do something different for one of the biggest clubs in the world.
And it's not like he's moving to Manchester United or another Premier League team.
It'd be hilarious if he went to City after all this.
With Guardiola, yeah.
That would be funny, but no. Third time this podcast, grow up.
Yeah, fair enough.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Last thing,
people got real problems in the world, and you're crying because he's pathetic.
Right, last Premier League point before we move on to a little bit of Championship and League One and League Two. Goodison Park obviously closed its doors to Premier League football today. Do you have any favourite Goodison Park memories? I imagine this is probably more going to be from an Arsenal perspective, but
favourite Goodison Park memories.
Do you remember some of the wins that we've had there?
I remember Wiltord absolutely shanking the ball with his shin and it looping over the goalkeeper and going in the season we did the double. To be honest, the thing I remember Goodison Park for is Drogba and Lampard's goals. Like, goal of the month. I think you had 2 or 3 goals in the same game in that one.
December 2007, I think, wasn't it? Was that the I might be mixing my months up, because obviously December 2007 is held up as like the best goal of the month the Premier League's ever seen.
I think those 2 are in there as well, potentially.
It's Drogba's one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, Lampard's was good, but Drogba's takes it on the chest half term. Bosh.
Yeah.
It's the same. Do you remember his goal at Stamford Bridge against Liverpool? Similar on his left foot.
Yeah. Back to goal. Chested that. Yeah. Quality.
You can't do anything. You can't defend that. You cannot defend that.
You don't save those.
Nah. Tick-a-boo.
You just don't.
Tick-a-boo. Yeah, but I mean, from an Arsenal fan's perspective, I think my favourite win there would have been the 6-1 on the opening day of the 2009-10 season. I don't know if you remember that. Vermaelen scored, Nielsen scored, Fabregas got a couple. We were 6-0 up, basically, and then Saha scored right at the end. But that was sort of the time. I mean, I was only young, but paying attention to everything that was going on in the world of football. And I thought, first game of the season, we made a statement, we're going to win the league, in my naivety of youth. And yeah, we didn't. But that was probably the best win.
I don't remember it, to be honest.
I
don't remember it.
Fair enough. In terms of Everton's memories for them themselves, I mean, one came against us, Rooney's first goal, which...
Yeah, and that's probably why I don't remember too much, because I always see that one. Rooney!
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, great. Great.
A couple in recent seasons. Last season's 2-0 win against Liverpool was quite big. I think that was bigger because it helped Everton survive and put a dent in Liverpool's title challenge.
There's a Corey goal to keep him up 2 seasons ago.
Yeah,
was that final day of the season, wasn't it? Against Bournemouth?
Against Bournemouth, that's one that I left out, yeah. And the season before that, it was the comeback against Palace, which was the penultimate game of the season that kept them up. They were 2-0 down.
Yeah, 2-0 down, weren't they? Yeah. And then I always remember the Suarez diving in front of David Moyes after scoring.
Yeah. I mean, some of the Merseyside derbies there that have taken place, I think Reina had an absolute mare in one of them.
Throwing the ball into Johnson's head. That was the next thing.
Like that, yeah.
Oh, who's that? Here you go, Andy.
Yeah. He was mad.
His bets came in. Johnson to score any time.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure Everton won that game.
Was it 1-0?
After that. Might have been by a more significant margin, but it wasn't a good one for Liverpool. That
Pickford returned the favour, didn't they, at Anfield a few seasons later by passing it to Origi.
Yeah, off the bar as well.
I mean, that's something. Sorry to go back to Arsenal. That's something that makes me laugh, like with Carragher and all that sort of stuff. All the over celebration nonsense over the last couple of years. Look at Jurgen Klopp, running onto the pitch like Mo Salah, you little dancer. Yeah,
against Chelsea. Yeah.
Mate, absolutely spitting I am at some of this stuff.
The funniest thing when it comes to Carragher and Liverpool in recent weeks, him saying stuff about the Trent debate, that other fans of other clubs can't tell Liverpool fans how to feel because they just don't get it. But Jamie Carragher, as a pundit for Sky Sports, as somebody very eloquently pointed out in the comment section, his job is to tell other fans what he thinks about their clubs.
Yeah. And how they should feel about it.
Yeah.
I know. Hypocrisy. The hypocrisy is rife.
Yeah. One more Everton memory. Not that we were alive for it, but I was looking on social media the other day. What's held up as arguably the greatest night at Goodison Park is when they beat Bayern Munich 3-1, Cup Winners' Cup. I think semi-final, quarter-final is the same year that they won it, 1984-85 season.
Okay.
Andy Gray scored, and obviously that was.
Did he tick a boo?
Yeah, that was when Everton were in the pomp, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on to the last points, which are the Championship playoff final and League One and League Two. More because I want to talk about one thing on League One. But on the Championship, who do you think will come up? Sunderland or Sheffield United? Sorry, who do you want to come up, not who do you think will come up?
I want Sunderland to come up.
I think everyone wants Sunderland to come up besides Sheffield United fans.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Newcastle. Well, Newcastle fans might want the derby.
Yeah, because it's a massive game. Yeah. And what Sunderland, the atmosphere after they beat Coventry.
Send them back down, boys.
Yeah. Did you see any of their win against Coventry the other night?
I did. I saw. Well, I've just been watching the YouTube highlights, but I saw the highlights for the first leg. Did you see the goal to make it 2-1?
Yeah, but when you put it into context now, obviously they lost by a goal. It's even worse. Obviously,
I know. No one goes on the pitch to make a mistake, do they? No. They're only human. But yeah, there was last minute of extra time, wasn't it? Before about to go to penalties, and he scores that header. Yeah. And it pings off the bar and bounces.
Because then that was the last kick or last action of the game, because as soon as Coventry kicked off, the ref blew his whistle. It was at the very, very end. It was a great header as well.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
And Bristol City fans who were celebrating getting to the playoff semi-finals got done 6-0 on aggregate.
Yeah, although, did you watch any of those highlights?
I've seen the goal. I mean, the return leg for Bristol, for the first, 25, 30 minutes, they had a lot of chances.
Are you talking about the second leg?
Second leg.
Yeah, so, I mean, I haven't seen any of the second leg. To be fair, I haven't seen a great deal of the first leg, besides the decision to send the Bristol City defender off when it was 0-0 at the end of the first half. And it felt like the whole tie hinged on that decision, because then obviously Sheffield United scored 3 goals, including the penalty that they were awarded for that. Yeah, it was seen as quite controversial.
I can't remember the red card. I've only seen it quickly. I can't remember it.
No, it was seen as controversial in real time. To me, it looked like a good decision, but a lot of Bristol City fans, as well as fans of other clubs, were raging at it, saying that it wasn't the correct decision.
But they don't have VAR.
No,
so it's giving it how he sees it then, which is how it should be.
Yeah, and ultimately, as soon as you put your hands on an attacking player in your own penalty box when they're running through on goal, you're at risk. So it's that. It
wasn't a Michael Oliver knockout moment. Let's put it that way. So
exactly
there you go.
Exactly that. Yeah. It was interesting though to return to Sunderland Coventry, because Coventry I thought were really, really good, but obviously ultimately fell short. However, it has since emerged that Frank Lampard is being mooted for the Southampton job. Now, whether he'd want to go there, rumours that I've seen, to me, you stay at Coventry based on the form that they had when he came in.
You can continue your momentum, can't you?
Exactly.
But maybe Southampton have better resources. I don't know.
Oh, to me, I'd just stay at Coventry and see if I can build.
Yeah. Because you took him from 17th to the playoff semi-finals or playoff places, whatever you want to call it.
Historically, over the last few years, they have started slowly and then really come on from the third of the season onwards. If they can start as they've ended this season, they can hopefully finally get promoted, really push for promotion. But yeah, it remains to be seen. Last thing I want to say, did you see any of the League One playoff games? I'm speaking specifically here, well, actually both of them, because there was the Orient offside that wasn't given in the game they had against Stockport in the first leg, but also Nathan Jones has been back in the news for his celebration after Charlton beat Wycombe the other night. Have you seen any of it?
I haven't seen the Stockport game.
Yeah.
I saw the highlights of the Charlton game from the Valley, watching it thinking, Jesus Christ, these teams are awful. Like
cagey.
I mean, who were Charlton playing again, sorry?
Wycombe.
Wycombe had a few chances in that game as well, and there was some good defending. But good Lord, they're going to struggle in the Championship because they couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. Like, just struggled with it.
If they come up, because obviously
Charlton, the chances, they struggled as well. But yeah, I saw he was crying at the end. Like, what are you crying for? It's embarrassing.
Yeah, but it was before the whistle had even been blown for full time.
I know. And then he was on his knees, like people trying to come up and shake his hand, all that sort of thing, and you're on your knees going, like, but you've not got promoted. What?
No.
That to me is just narcissistic behaviour. It's all about me. Now the story is about me. I put so much effort into this. Oh, look how tired I am and how exhausted and emotionally drained I am. Like, Best managers in Europe don't do that. You don't see Ancelotti crying when he wins the Champions League, do you? Yeah. He gets out a nice big old cigar and goes, "I'm the Don."
And then he walks around with his players and he joins in a circle and he just goes, "Wee!"
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Raises an eyebrow, goes, "Yeah."
I didn't understand that at all because I saw all of the stuff on social media afterwards. It was almost like Nathan Jones saw the camera, is what people were saying, and then went down to his knees. And yeah, it just felt pathetic. Also because you hadn't even been promoted yet. The exception to that, so obviously people might say, well, look at the way Sunderland were celebrating against Coventry.
No one was crying, though, were they?
No, nobody was crying, but because of the fact it was in any game of football, if you score a last-minute goal to effectively win the game, which is what they did.
Yeah, but that's celebrating.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
not celebrating.
No, I know.
They're celebrating scoring a winner. He's crying. I'm not being funny. These people need to have a look at themselves.
Yeah.
Right? It's a game of football. You haven't even got promoted. Like, look what else is going on in the real world. You're crying about that, and I know that was before this event happened, but you've got 2 firefighters that died doing their job.
Yeah.
After a little bit after that, I think it was Cambridgeshire or something like that.
Yeah, it was Oxfordshire.
Oxfordshire,
it was,
sorry.
RAF Benson.
Yeah, I only heard it on the radio briefly. I didn't hear where it was. I just heard that 2 firefighters and a member of the public died. And you're crying because you get to Wembley. You absolute melt.
Well, come on. What was the theme of the episode? I'm expecting you to say 2 words. Finish it off in 2 words.
Grow up.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's a decent way to end. If you've got anything more to say,
unless you want to play Cards Against Humanity Premier League version.
I'll play it, just not on this episode because we're now an hour and 20 minutes in.
Okay, fair enough. Let's wrap it up. But we can, if you want to record it, and we'll try and add the Premier League things to it. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Worst case, you get some clips, or it just gets deleted.
Yeah. All good. Cool. I should actually end.
We've got time.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
What's going to be your thumbnail, by the way? Sorry, I know you're doing the close off, but I've been looking on YouTube at all the thumbnails. I'm like, My favourite one is still the one of you pulling your party popper, because it really does look like you're whacking one out to your podcast.
Yeah, I think that's why a few more people clicked on that video, because of that. I always do it to try and entice people to click on it, and I thought I don't even need to create anything with that. I've got party popper, so yeah.
Oh, amazing.
We'll see. It always depends on how I edit it. My favourite one, to be fair, is probably the Barclaysman one, only because of the fact I could get 6 Barclaysmen in, and yeah, it was just. It was right. Salute, yeah. I would Adebayor on it, and Tim Sherwood.
See, what you should be doing is I should be facing the camera. I should be doing Benjani.
And on that note, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. You now know what the thumbnail is going to be. We'll see you on the next one.
Goodbye.